Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and Aetherborn of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Simulan Sowers, and we are jumping into a Kaladesh Aether Revolt Draft League, Intermediate Swiss Draft League, it would appear. Someone had stopped by the stream and asked Travis, why don't you use a webcam in your drafts? And now I actually have a good reason. I tried it and it busted the recording software, and now I'm recording again. This is the rare case of I'm recording this Monday morning and you're watching it Monday evening. That just happened. How cool is that? Also, have a new microphone stand. Let me know if this sounds a little better, a little worse. Hopefully it sounds a little better. Might change the volume level as I'm a good bit closer to the microphone than I typically am. Anyway, looks like we'll be drafting in just a moment. I think I had mentioned in the other recording too that for those of you who are unaware, I have started podcasting as well. The most recent Men from Moto podcast, which you can find on manadeprived.com, is actually about mulligan decisions. We did a lot of math, and I think that's a really good episode for you to check out. So I would encourage you to head over there and listen to that as well, specifically if you'd like to get better at what hands are keepable in Limited. This is actually a pretty difficult choice for me because the Glint Sleeve Siphoner is clearly great in a black deck, and the Treasure Keeper is clearly great in a deck. Like, what usually happens with me is I talk myself into taking the Treasure Keeper and then moving into black second pick and then just regretting all of my decisions. Like, it's an amazing card, right? Like, if you can attack with it twice, which you probably can, it's got menace, you get to draw a card. Who doesn't want that? I want that. This is just like, hey, if you're willing to play Hill Giant, when it dies, you can get some value. I mean, the fact that I don't know that I'm going to be black means I should probably take the Treasure Keeper, but I want to try out the rare, man. I want to try out the rare. And then there was this, and I'm going to take it too. We'll figure out what color we're going to be. Maybe it's blue-black improvise, and we're just a Treasure Keeper short of an actual deck. I really like the Scrapper Champion too. I would consider taking the Foundry Hornet here if the Quicksmith Spy wasn't here. This is a fantastic card. Maybe the person passing to us took a treasure Keeper. It's like, I'll stay open. But Quicksmith Spy is very good. And like Foundry Hornet, while it is a black card, it's sort of a black-green card because you want to get them counters going. And you can do it with Fabricate dudes in Pack 3, but that's a bit of a risky proposition. So let's get spying, shall we? Yes. Well, I mean, we already want to have a lot of artifacts, and we're basically just an Ornithopter short. I don't know if I can talk myself into that. I really don't. So what is it? It's a 5/5 in addition to its other types. And then as soon as they cast a removal spell on it, you have 2 for 1 to yourself. I kind of can't make myself do that. Like, the best card in the pack is the Chandra's Revolution. I can take that, and maybe we're black, red, aggro-ish. Maybe we're red, blue thingy. Like, if the gold card of a format doesn't appeal to the person who's drafting exactly those 2 colors, doesn't that say something about the gold card? I guess the joke is I'm supposed to put it on an Ornithopter. You know what? I'm going to give it a try. I've been drafting really safe decks, and I want to do something stupid. That's actually what I want to do. I want to try an interesting deck. This is not normally something you see Travis doing. Just first picking 2 cards and jamming in. But I've watched my good friend who's actually done drafts for this channel once, I think he did a pre-release sealed. Josh Frankel has done some really interesting things with artifacts and what I thought were bad cards. And I kind of want my chance to do a Josh draft. So what would Josh do here? He would talk about this implement even though it's off color because it's going to be so good with these cards. But I bet I wheel one of these 2. I'm just going to take the Aether Poisoner. It's one of the better black commons. Don't worry, we're going to pick up some artifacts. Now that's what Josh would want, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. So bad. So bad. So you gotta not just like But we can draw so many cards, Travis. But you got to like cast an artifact, not have one come into play. All right, you said you wanted to do something fun. You said you wanted to do something fun. And here you are. Finhauler's a payoff for artifacts. Sweatworks Brawler's a better payoff for artifacts. Like at this point, I should probably realistically take that. We're not seeing like the black or blue implements. Or I could just say I don't have to play this and I can play a Finhauler. Finhauler's pretty good. Finhauler ain't bad. Now, the best card is this here Hinterland Drake. I don't have to play Tezzeret's Touch. I don't have to. I want to. I don't have to. Because, I mean, I'd like an implement, but I guess I'm not picking the artifacts highly enough. Iceover's pretty good too, but like if I'm not taking artifacts here, what am I doing? Playing Planar Bridge? You don't want to do that, do you? I mean, it's an artifact. That's not what I want to be doing. Okay, Perilous Predicament wheeled. I think it's better than wheeling. A lot of decent playable black cards here, but I'll take the predicament. I have put my opponents in a predicament on occasion, and it has been good. It has been good. It's a little later than I expect for an Infiltrator, and I don't think we're playing an Aegis Automaton, but we will see. Always happy to main deck 1/4 Bridge Prowler. It doesn't look like we're necessarily getting there for the Tezzeret's Touch artifact count, but I'm pretty strongly incentivized to just take do-nothing artifacts at this point. How did we end up here? Not exactly sure. Hinterland Drake. Hinterland Drake's a good card. Aether Poisoner's a good card. This is a good card. Like having extra ways to get energy is fine. So we're playing aggressive artifact combo improvise. Yeah. Implement of Improvement. Like it's possible we play a Dispersal Technician, I suppose. Sure. Sure. I would normally pass a white card, but I mean, maybe we start going into it. It looked like there were light white cards there. I really need some artifacts if we're going to pull this off. Like we've currently got, I guess, 2 if you count the Aether Poisoner, and that's just sort of not enough. The worst part is because we passed a Treasure Keeper, we put the person in our left into artifacts. That's a joke. It's more important to identify what you are being passed than to focus on what you are actually passing. Now see, here's the thing. We could take another Tezzeret's Touch and at that point almost just take garbage artifacts and try to combo off, which seems really stupid, not like something I'd enjoy, but that doesn't mean we couldn't do it. There's a possibility it wheels. Because I think Daring Demolition is probably the one card that I don't have that I'd like to. Oh, man. Oh, no, no, no. This is tough. This is tough. I'm kind of talking myself into it. Because, like, how often do you get a chance to attack somebody with... I can't get away from making the right pick. If this comes back or I see another lighter one, I think we'd be interested in it. I don't think this is what we're up for here. We would probably play Statuary too, right? I need to pick up some artifacts. I think Servo Schematic is actually one of the ones I'm most interested in. Right, like it would help me improvise this guy. We can put Tezzeret's Touch on it. We can draw a card with it here. Because otherwise, I kind of just want another Aether Poisoner. This is not terribly different. Than a Puzzle Knot. I'm taking the Aether Poisoner. If I took the Daring Demolition, I'm taking that. We'll figure out what's up. There's what Josh would take. I'm going to take the Gifted Aetherborn. Like, we can still play the Quicksmith Spy with the tokens here and that. It ain't great, but it'll work. It'll work. I know Josh would take Gonti's Aether Heart. I saw him play it in a deck. Blue may just not be open. But I believe black is, if we're seeing that as late as we are. And even with a light touch of blue, this deck will be fine. Like, I really want some sort of mediocre flying artifact creature to put this on. If we're running it. Like, I kind of look at it sort of like siege modifications, right? Like, if I play this and it works, we're good to go. But I want to make sure I at least get one hit in with it before, you know, everything's over. It doesn't make much sense to take a Consulate Dreadnought to play it on. Again, I'm pretty highly incentivized to take do-nothing artifacts, but I kind of can't make myself do it. Like, there's a Cruel Finality here. We can just take that. We're good to go. I'd like the Salvager too. Leaving the Dust as a card I like quite a bit, but I feel like we're getting a little edged out of blue, and I'd rather just hedge into black. Like, Weldfast Engineer is not unreasonable. Why is this still here? Like, if we're still on this plan, I probably just need to take the Foundry Assembler. It's not great. It's actually kind of bad. We can live with it. If I want to go into red for this, I don't want to go into red for this. It's a bit late for that. I think we're blue-black. And I think I need some, like, we don't have to play the Tezzeret's Touch. We're going to play the Quicksmith Spy. I could play, like, some black puzzle knots if I had to. They at least cycle. Maybe a Prism. Yeah. We can get our count up to, like, 3 or 4, and I'm good to go. Here we go. There's an artifact I'm happy to play. So this puts us up to 4 that can combo with the Quicksmith Spy. I'm not super unhappy to play the Night Market Guard. I have seen Sly Requisition or do things in this deck, but like we saw 0 black implements, 1 blue implement that we took. I guess I'm just not taking those high enough to pull it off. So like if everything works, another Fin Hauler would be great. If it doesn't, this is pretty spiffy. And then if everything's truly terrible, we could play the Night Market Guard. How's my removal? We've got a Finality, a Demolition, some Death Touch guys, a Predicament. I kind of think I should take the other Fin Hauler and see if we can get there on artifacts. There's one, also an Aether Swooper. That's probably better. That's energy if I need it to draw cards. It makes an artifact on its own. And if we're going to be blue-black, this looks like it's going to be pretty good for me. We've also got potentially enough servos that we could play something like Shrewd Negotiations. Wow. I was going to say we're pretty happy with this inspiring statuary. But I think we're just going to take this Aether Poisoner and be pretty happy that we're black. Yeah. Yeah. We could have had 2 efficient constructions, Travis. But this is starting to come together. Starting to. Salvager's fine. Salvage Scuttler might be fun if we pick up a Prophetic Prism, which we don't have yet. I've got 6 artifacts currently, so I can probably actually run the Touch. You got the Touch. Burr, 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 burr. I'll take that in case things go bad. I will play 2 Leave in the Dusts. For the decks where this is good, it's going to be great. We'll take it here. It's kind of weird to see all those Salvagers. I want to do the Black-Red Sacrifice deck at some point, which I have not done before. But here we're just looking for like a couple medium artifacts. Good artifacts also acceptable, such as this Thopter of Snaring. It gives us another creature, which I think we're pretty interested in. Another artifact. 4 artifact counts. It slices, it dices, it's everything you want. What do you want from me? Just take the card. Like, basically all we need is a thing. Thingy. I would play a Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. I don't know that I'm supposed to take it here. Maybe I am. Because if not that, then what? It's like we'd probably be looking for an upgrade to Dispersal Technician, but it's not bad. I'll happily play it. Like if this is the last card in the deck, I think the deck's actually pretty good. I could see taking a Self-Assembler, but I've kind of got the big do-nothing thing here. And I've got some more medium stuff. All right, Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. This is your day to shine. This is your day to shine. Green was the answer for those of you playing along at home. I like having a select for inspection in the sideboard, but I think upgrading one of these Leaving the Dust to a Malfunction is actually pretty good for me. It's a little awkward with the Perilous Predicament. So let's actually be aware of that. Because if I do that, I may want to side out the Perilous Predicament as well. Just using enchantment-based removal and an Edict effect is a super nombo. But frankly, Perilous Predicament can be a sideboard card too if it needs to be. I'm going to take this and not quite put it in yet, and we'll make that decision a little later. I kind of think 2 Malfunctions over the Predicament may be where I'd like to be. Like take this out, put in Malfunction 1 and 2. This card got a lot better. And we've got decent-ish removal now. Genjit Sentry probably has a position here too, but I'd look to look for artifact shenanigans rather than something else. Whirler Virtuoso is quite nice. Can I talk myself into Torch Gauntlets or a Crane? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is really not going to hit that often. I mean, it's still fine. I'm wondering how I feel about a Torch Gauntlet. It's okay on the Drake. It kind of sucks on everybody else. It's okay here. It's okay on the Poisoners because they don't want to block them anyway. Like, we're pretty far away from splashing. I don't think I'm actually super likely to play any of these cards with the exception of the Crane if we decide we want early blockers. I don't even know that it's in the deck yet, which would indicate that I may have drafted poorly. Like, Gearseeker Serpent looks like exactly what this deck would want, and it's probably better than one of the Fin Haulers. The other option is just take the Filler Bug and replace the Dispersal Technician and have everything else be better and even be closer to playing the Crane. Because at that point, I've got 6 straight-up artifacts, 7, 8, 9 produced here, so we have no problem playing the Spy and the Tezzeret's Touch. God, it seems so unreasonable to take a Filler Bug over a Gearseeker Serpent when you're playing this deck. I think it is. I think we take the first Filler Bug and replace one of the Fin Haulers and then kind of see where we're at. Where we're at is maybe I was taking Malfunction too highly. Still not sold on a Glassblower's Puzzle Knot. It kind of blows. I mean, this is sort of like a servo schematic, right? It gives us 2 artifacts. We'll see. We'll see. Contraband Kingpin we can probably find room for him. Let's get rid of that Dispersal Technician now. I don't think we want any of this. I'm going to take... I certainly don't want more Malfunctions. We've got enough now, but I'll take a Rush of Vitality and we'll see if we end up playing that. Short lives lead to forbidden choices. Yes. This is an ETB trigger, so we can actually get some value off of these here Poisoners. I like this. I think this is a good deck. I think the Tezzeret's Touch is too cute. I'm still going to splash it. I'm still going to play it because I think it might be fun. But realistically, we should not be playing this card. Just didn't get... I don't know that I like the card that much anyway. You get a little bit of your value back by having the thing returned if they kill it, but like some of our targets for it are servos. That's not so great. I guess we're happy enough putting it here, 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 or here. Maybe even on the implement, I guess. Like, we didn't get much value putting that into play. Maybe there's a matchup where we just have to find Snare Thopter in time. Get to the Thopter! I said we might play this, and we might. I'm not quite sure what over. We've got enough energy sinks that it's sort of value to consider. I guess I would bring it in against a deck where the 4th Bridge Prowler is not good. But I've played with this card enough to feel like you kind of want the first one in your deck, and you're kind of happy to have another one in your sideboard if you can. Like, there's so many 3/1s running around. There were already a decent amount of 3/1s in Kaladesh, and there's so many now that I think I'm just happy to have this. Looks like a pretty easy 9-8 split to me. So I think I'm down with what's happening here. I like it. It goes straight from 4 to 7. That's a curve. These are probably 5-ish and 6-ish drops here, if you consider the servos from these guys and gals as something. I guess they're all gals, I think. It's hard to tell with Aetherborn. Not Aetherborn. They're not either. They are they. But Vidal can have genders. It's hard for old people, man. Get used to saying new things. But I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm learning. So this is a they. This is a they. This is a she. This is a she. And this is an it, right? I'm just going to call them cards. All right. I'm going to have another cup of coffee, and we're going to play our first game. Thanks for tuning in, folks.